That's probably why. Now could you guys hear me? Talking to myself for 2 minutes. Anybody hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. All right, I can hear myself. All right, I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites are digital venues for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit by losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept full responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment in most Apple Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or unusual particular trading program inspire trading losses on material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results involved, which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade room and this webinars are not intended to vary my trades or to give specific trade recommendations. And now, since those I share trades and trades and I take for myself based on my personal knowledge. Although I'm supposed to trades, I recognize specific trades, trade makes themselves but ultimately make decisions. Trading is extremely risky if you decide to follow my personal trades, you lose your own risk and position your entire account even more. And I was profitable when I routine balance my trading accounts. The spreadsheet with access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use their zone values, making our values, and how many daily exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone pricing into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices of trades, whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy the spreadsheet and enter your own values and use mine to confirm the zone prices into their individual zones for yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade as it has entry prices and stop prices for long and short positions depending on which you personally decide to trade.
All right, good morning. There's actually nothing going on until I just got on and just had an event in NASDAQ. By the way, we are releasing this beta test for the general public. It's been available in my trade room for a few weeks now, but I'll give you guys info on this here shortly. Quickly, I was just short crude. I just got out of here. You know, if you got short with me, if you're obviously using this stuff, especially talking to my trade room, I got and this was a case. I mean, you could see this move down. I thought I was late to the party, but I still followed my rules, put the trade on, and it turned out to be a nice winner, right? So, I mean, you could see this. They've just been hammering crude, and it's actually in an inflection zone right here. These are my zones. We'll talk about those too, but there's no bullish setup here as of right now. But I got short off of this event here. So we got this is the what we call the bark trade, blind ATR retest, confirm, got short. And I just got out at the blue lug. You know, if you're watching this closely, you can try to give this a chance to bust through the lug. We'll talk about the lugs like we always do here. Very powerful areas, levels, I should say. So my rule of thumb is usually these things are so ridiculously powerful, I just get out most of the time. You know, if I'm able to sit here and watch, you know, there's enough relative volume going through this market right now that it may blow through the lugs. That's where it usually will blow through the lug, meaning relative volume, meaning big money's playing today. So these algos that like to snap back these markets are getting run over today. And you can see how that heavy relative volume coming in. So this is just showing you this exact time period for the last 30 days. You can see it just continues to come in. So somebody's unloading on this market, somebody big. And that's why I kind of blew through this lug, and it may even blow through this lug. Again, I can't watch it, so I'm going to get, you know, I took a, let's see where I got in on that trade. I shorted it to 36, so I made about 60 tick, more than that. Yeah, about 60 ticks on the trade. So again, if I'm going to be sitting here watching this, I would see if it can continue lower. This is a new event. I'm just going to wait and see if we draw new lugs, and then I can put on the same trade I just put on up here. ATR retest confirm. Same thing here. So we'll see what happens here. We'll be back to that. Let's you see a Dumb and Dumber just fired off here in Mr. NQ. What is a Dumb and Dumber? One of my 5 or 6 distinct trading setups. The Dumb Money Retail Puke. Again, I call retail trader dumb money because they're not as informed, meaning they can't push the market around like the big money that makes themselves smart money. So this was stop runs are usually retail traders puking. So that's important information on many fronts, but mostly when you see buying and you know it's a stop run, it's not usually initiative buying. It's just guys puking. So these are really good fade areas. If you're looking, if there's an area that you're looking to short, this would be like your signal. Okay, I know this isn't real buying. It's failing. It's a dumb and dumber. I'm getting short. So we will see. I may have missed a trade here already, but 15,904 quarter, 899. So again, you're going to have access to this drawing tool. Those that you want it. It's not perfect yet. That's why it's in beta. It's pretty damn good on its own, but you're going to have to adjust, and we'll show how you can adjust these zones as they come in. But this thing is a godsend. It saves so much.
Stock sell HG 408 contract.
Saves so much time, and it's pretty accurate as it is right now. I mean, the programmer, who's part of my trade room, he built it like I told him to build it, because we used to draw all the prices that occurred during the spike. But I have this set at 10 seconds, so what I impose on the market isn't really meaning that's where all these prices were. In this case, it was. But I'll go over this. But this is where you want to draw where that came in. So we'll go over it. But my stop runs are for 10 seconds. Then it resets, and then my icebergs are for a minute. So we'll go over some examples here how to draw these. But let me get this zone in here. This is the spreadsheet you guys can have access to as well. Part of my trade room, but you can get a subscription to this. I'll put this here in a second. Let me just get this zone in here. A link to this stuff. 15,899. ATR, the average true range. I'm using at 5 minute, 14 period Wilders. On Thinkorswim, you can get on many platforms. There it is, right there, right in the middle. 16.81. So it basically is telling me the market's rotating about 17 points every 5 minutes. Very important information. So the most important information you can have are these volume events and what the current volatility is, and then that we have a system based off of that where and this tells you exactly where you enter your trades, if you want to go long or short, your stops, validation to figure out if this is bullish or bearish, so on and so forth. So let's see what happened here. Hopefully I didn't miss a trade. This may have been an Izzy zone, inflection zone, and it was. So you can see here this market keeps bouncing back and forth between these two zones.
Crude Jan Ice Iceberg by CL 151 contracts.
Yeah, new setup in crude too. So I can't short this. Could have shorted this aggressively. That price would have been basically where we're at right now. I will take this trade if it comes back here. I'll put on 6 MNQ 79.75. This is the Izzy short, and then there's potentially other trades we could put on here too. Hold on, crude or NQ. Don't be running away on me. Of course. All right, I chased it down a couple ticks. So I missed the original entry. I just got in now. So again, this was an inflection zone that I just showed you on the bar chart. These trades are, so these are all trading strategies that I'm taking, that we take in the room and that I personally take, right? So this one was the Izzy trade, the inflection zone trade. And it's aggressive entry, meaning I'm not waiting. I showed you the one instance in crude where I waited for the retest failure, right? That's a safer trade per se. When you see that, it's more of a, I don't want to say safer, but it's a better percentage that it's going to do that if it retests and it comes back. Well, some of these areas, it may not retest the zone, and I'm just going to be sitting in there holding the bag with nothing on. So Izzy zones are very important. So I don't wait for retests in that case, right? So actually, it looks like I missed some trades here in Russell too. We'll come back to that. All right. So anyway, I would have been in here aggressively. I missed it, and I just put it on now. So now my stop, the way I trade these from watching so very many of them, I put my stop in ATR plus 10% or plus 15% above this zone. So I'm making this, for me to be wrong on this trade, it's got to come all the way back. However many ATRs, just looks like a 1 ATR right now. It's got to get through the volume event, and it's got to push another ATR out for me to get stopped out. Why do I do that? Because you see these Christmas tree look here, that's the algos just whipsawing everybody. So when nothing's going on, these algos turn on and just start whipsawing people back and forth. So this area is meaningless as far as what's going on in the market. So I'm not going to let these algos snap me out of the trade. If this market can push all the way up here and get above an ATR outside of this volume event, then I say uncle, on to the next trade. Let's keep an eye on this as well. This is Hero. I'm talking about this a lot lately. Did a webinar with him a couple weeks ago. All right, so I'm short that. If this does an ATR retest, there's other strategies I may be able to put on, maybe. So this is Algo Guy. This is an exponential moving average ribbon. I use this to filter out my bark trades, my bark strategies, and my lick strategies. So the barks are literally, this is what I put on in crude earlier, where you get the ATR, the retest failure. Well, right now this is bullish, so I can't put on any shorts for the bark or lick. I need this to confirm for me. So if the blue, this is the shorter term exponential moving average, is below the red, then I could put on shorts.
Iceberg by ZB, 707 contracts.
So I could not take a bark here. I took the Izzy short. That is not contingent on Algo Guy. I put that on regardless, no matter which way Algo Guy's sloping, or if the blue's above the red or the red's below the blue. That's where I got on that. But for me to take that trade, I could normally take that, but I'm not taking in this situation because Algo Guy is bullish. If I end up getting a bullish event, then I could put on barks and licks to the upside, right? So I just, right now, that's not presenting itself. So that's this one.
By ZB, 708 contracts.
This one. We got some bond stuff. So we'll go over there here shortly, but I will tell you, when bonds start firing off, it usually signals a bigger move coming in these equities, and I have no idea which way. That's why we use our volume events, but usually you can count on a bigger move. I'm not seeing much here in the way of relative volume in these markets. You can see here. So crude's just hanging out at the blue lug here. It's probably going to bust through that one too. You can see here this relative volume is, it's barely getting to normal, meaning average. So we've got a couple bars early on, but it's ES is below. So this just looks like very choppy action. You can see Russell's actually getting smoked. Like I said, I think I missed a trade here. Let's see, just quickly. Maybe not. I mean, Algo Guy in this market is bearish, right? So I could have taken, but I haven't seen any retest of these zones yet that have drawn on their own. And I'm thinking there may have been an Izzy up here. Let's see. That was today. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of already in this zone, so I didn't really miss anything here. You know, per my rules, you may have other areas that you look at, and other things, other indicators, which is fine, right? These are the areas I'm looking and the way I trade these. But you can say this may have been the 200-day moving average cross, and you're like, I'm getting in as soon as I see a volume event, I'm getting in, right? I talk about this every week. This is the science. There's no disputing this stuff. What's happening here, as far as icebergs and stop runs, how you trade them is the art. So what I tell my trade room, you know, and if you're on these webinars, highly recommend you trade them like I trade them to start, and then as you get better at these and start to make, you know, become profitable, then you can put your own spin on things and take them differently and not wait for ATR retest, not wait for a full ATR out of the zone. You can do whatever you want. I talk about different methods in my course as well. Speaking of which, let me get this out to you guys. So this is document with everything. Here's the new beta tool. So here's the guide. It tells you exactly how to install it. You're installing it just like an add-on, like the SI subchart or the MBO add-on. It's all in here. That's what this looks like here. I haven't even gone through this yet. It just was literally sent to me today. So basically says exactly what you need to, the markets it supports, how to bring it into your Bookmap, so on and so forth. So that is that. And then there's a survey here. If you guys can please, if you're going to use this, please fill this out so we can, again, this is a beta. We're trying to make it better, but it should help you tremendously. Just, again, just to go through these markets, I'm watching 17 different markets, right? So instead of having to go here and like find the spikes, I can, and then draw the zones, I can just hop over here and like we heard bonds, like, okay, where's that? Oh, there, it already drew, right? So it's awesome. You may have to adjust it, and we'll be adjusting some on these webinars. Anyway, that's the guide. That's that. Once you're ready to install it in Discord, the Bookmap Discord, and let me change this actually.
56 out of 100 indicating green, while the crypto fair green index is 70 out of 100.
Contact, turn this down a little bit. Contact Andrew. This is just go to Discord and type in his info, and then he will get you set up. Tell him you want to try the zone drawing tool. The rest of this stuff is my new course, goes over all the setups. It's almost 5 hours of content, settings, setups, drawing zones, you name it. That's the new course there. And then this is for if you want the spreadsheet. If you're not going to be part of my trade room, if you can't make it in there, this is for a subscription to the spreadsheet. These are the inflection zones I was talking about, and this is the two combined. Again, you get it free in my trade room if you come in there, but you can get it on your own as well. And then here's all my contact information here, and then these are all the things I use in my trading, and you can get discounts to all this stuff. Bookmap, the SI indicator, there's no discount to that, but there's discounts to the Global Plus. Apex Traders Funding, any sale they currently have going on, just use that code and you get the sale price. We'll go over that later. Spot Gamma, we'll talk about that. This is for the you get 2 free weeks of any of the subscriptions. Obviously, I would do the most valuable one, and you get everything. Right, so you go over here, subscribe now, do the alpha. It's actually 14-day with my code. You click on that and then put my code in. Right here, have a coupon, SCOTT, capital letters. That's that. We'll be talking about Hero today too. Tick Strike, that's what this is. Bookmap has their own version of this now. It's like Tick Strike on steroids. We'll go over that. That's what this is kind of showing here. What you're seeing, we'll go over this. Like I said, most buying or selling, I have mine set for an hour. We'll go over some of those instances, and then, but this is Tick Strike. This is separate, but I have this too. This just tells me when stuff's firing off. These are meters that go from 1 to 15. It just is an algo that picks up the size of the orders coming through and the speed. I've had this thing for probably 14, 15 years. And then Trader Sync. This is a document, and they actually have a sale. I got to get the new. I think if you just use this link, you'll get the most recent sale.
150 contracts.
And then here is the Ludwig levels, and here's some reviews to my room. We'll talk about Ludwig levels too. You go to that site and say you saw in the Bookmap webinar, she has special pricing. All right, so I just think I heard something in queue. All right, so I'm already short this market. I actually missed. Hopefully I couldn't have got out. This was 30 points in my favor, and I was chirping, so I may have missed an exit. I don't get out of all of them, but there's areas that I will peel out of some of my trade as the market makes money available to me. So let's see if I miss anything. You can see, like, here's a per example of the Ludwig levels. Like, look how many times this thing has bounced pretty much to the exact tick off of this thing, right?
152 contracts.
So as far as getting out here, there was really nothing here for me for the areas that I look to get out. So I may have this come back on me now, but I didn't, for me, there was nothing to really get out of any of there. These are those areas that I talk about. So I'm consistently getting out at these areas, especially if they're confluent with one another, meaning or overlapping, right? So I pay them myself as this is straight out of trading in the zone. And we'll go over this. I'll go on some rants later. Ludwig levels, we saw I got out of all my crude at the blue Ludwig level a little bit ago. Market profile, composite highs, lows, points and controls, VWAP, extreme standard deviations. Usually these I need to have something else there, like a baby lug or point of control. We'll go over all this stuff. But spot gamma levels, obviously, struggle to get through having rest of the liquidity. So these are all the areas. We'll go over them as we have trades on and I'm getting out. But I may take this on the chin as it comes back now. But the good thing about this trade now is, and this is how I trail my stop, right? So we already said I had my stop and ATR above here. I was going to force the market to come all the way back. I had some profit in this trade. Now it's coming back. Well, now I'm going to plug in this new zone and I'm going to trail my stop to this new event. And I better hurry before this thing rips off the page on me. So again, drew it automatically. You don't have to draw it yourself. I'll put the link to that document in YouTube here in a second once I get this situated. So this looks like it started here. And this thing's pretty accurate on its own, but you may not want to start it on a 4-lot stop, right? So this started as spike. So this was actually the threshold, meaning, see how it's 150, so 150 is my threshold, and that started way up here. So I'm just going to draw where it got to threshold. The great thing about here is you just go in the little ellipse and you hit B and you scroll it all the way up. This tool is awesome. There you go. So that's the zone I have for that stop run, 72 quarter to 69.50. So now we go to our spreadsheet. I guarantee you I'm going to miss this price, 872 quarter. Is that 14 or 15? 15, 872 quarter. Alright, got the natural gas number coming out here in 5 minutes too. 15, 869.50. So my stop was originally at 891. Oh no, it's already adjusted. Now it's going to be at 891. So that's where I'm going to get out of this trade. So I'm only, if I lose on this trade, I'm only going to lose a very little bit, right? Because I got in at 80 something. So again, I got short the Izzy trade off of this event into the inflection zone. I was aggressive. Stop is up here. Got a new event. Now I'm bringing my stop 91.50. So if that pops up there and stops me out, you know, if you really want to, you could move it just above this zone and force this market to get back through here, because this is kind of nowhere land, like I said. I'll just follow the rules. I'll get out. If I get stopped out, I'm going to lose maybe, 6 points or something, and then on to the next trade. So make sure 91.50 is where I stop out of that. Actually, it'll be a 13-point loser. I got in at 78. I chased it down a little bit ago. Alright, so that is working. There is a way I could add to this. Well, maybe not. No, I can't add to it because this was an Izzy trade. And remember I said I can't take bark strategies or lick strategies because this is still bullish. This is not a good sign for shorts either. We talk about coming up with thesis. We have a thesis on how the Ludwig levels form. We have a thesis on market profile. And then this is a thesis on algo guy. When the market pulls below here and it can't pull that short-term blue below and it hops back above, then you usually get the next wave of up move. So this is showing me I may very well get stopped out of this trade pretty much right about now. So again, I'm stopping out at 91.50. I'll stop out and then on to the next trade. And let me post this real quick. Where are we at here? I'll put this in the Discord
Nat
too.
gas ice iceberg by NG. 151 contracts.
Yeah, I just put it in YouTube. Brad, holy cow, I feel like such a noob. So guys, yeah, when you get in here for the first time or first couple times, it looks like I'm doing all this high, technical stuff. I'm really not. We're drawing volume events where traders are loaded up, right? That's what we're taking advantage of. We're taking advantage of areas that there's volume, aka traders loaded up more than usual, and we're taking advantage of the moves out of there. And we have distinct rules for that. Brecht says, watching trades like being a musician and discovering a virtuoso makes you want to smash your instrument and quit. As this is just another, this is the method as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I mean, you may want to listen to me. I've been trading for 25 years. I've said for 7 years that Bookmap and the SI indicator is the most powerful thing I've ever seen in futures trading. I was actually not even going to trade. I got blown out of the business. When I came back, it was with Bookmap, and I was doing stock webinars because I was not going to trade futures. I was that jaded from being a multi-millionaire to couldn't make $1 in futures. And I said, especially ES, I'm like, I don't want to even look at the damn thing. Then they came out the SI indicator, and I'm like, I can't ignore this. It's the most powerful thing I've ever seen, right? So my point is, you may want to listen to me when it comes to that. But all you're really doing, anything you're doing in your trading, you can continue to do it if you think it works or it works, whatever. You think you have an edge, you have an edge. That's fine, but this is the most important information. So if you can apply the rules of these volume events in your areas, then you have yourself a trading strategy or a huge, huge edge, the edge, as far as I'm concerned, right? So that's that, but thank you for the compliment. I'm assuming that's a compliment. All right, so what happened here in crude? I'm glad I got out of the lug there. So this is what happens at the Ludwig levels. Like, I call them lugs. People are always like, what's lub? What lug? Love? What are you talking about? It's just short for Ludwig levels, so I don't have to say Ludwig level 88 times on a webinar. But you can see, so we've already seen 2 markets that have bounced right off of these things today. Right? They're incredible for targets to get out. They're incredible, support and resistance, obviously. So that was that one, and we saw NQ do the same thing. Look at these things. She's had a higher power whisper in her ear, obviously, when she developed these things. I don't know. It's proprietary. I don't know what she uses. And I don't need to know, right? Like, I've used this analogy pretty much every webinar for Bookmap. You know, when you walk in a room and you need light, when you walk in a room and need light, do you have to dissect the light bulb to see how it works, or do you just turn on the light, right? So I don't need to know how these work. I have kind of an idea what she's using, maybe a little bit, like to market profile and stuff like that, but I don't need to know. I know they work, and I do not incorporate stuff into my trading lightly. I watch these I've been using them for 2.5 years now, but at the time I had a guy actually in my trading room who was made, like $1 million plus, and he swore by these things. So I'm like, he's like, oh, the SI events with these liquid levels is the best thing I've ever seen. So I started watching them, and I just kept seeing things like this, especially correlated with the volume events. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I got to start using these. And then contacted her. We did a webinar. Actually, I'll post that. I always post that too. Let's see. This is my trade room here. If you guys come in here, let's see. I think it's in here. But she's in the trade room too, so she'll come in and say, hey, like today she said, roll your contracts. This is her right here. Where's she at? And if you have questions, I don't want her, crush with questions, but if you need to get in contact with her. This is today. This was yesterday. Right here. So she's trader gal in my room. Loves for CL and MCL.
433 contracts.
Alright, so I just stopped out of NQ, took a small loser on the next trade. Hold on, I'm trying to find this video for you guys. So here's on the exponential moving average. I post this every week too. You can come up with like 15 strategies with this thing alone. Post that in YouTube. And then I always forget where this damn video is. I've posted it many times in here, but there's always new traders, so I'm trying to find it here. I cannot remember where I put this thing. There's an easier way to do this, I just can't remember. Did I post it here? Hold on. That one, sorry. Hopefully somebody in my room. I talked about that mouthwash because I didn't want to risk that extra amount of points, right? But that's exactly what I said. I said you could. Of course, I stopped out to the exact tick. But I said this is in the middle of nowhere. You may want to move your stop above this event. So I should have risked the extra 15 points. I didn't. Whatever. It's fine. Stopped out. If you guys have that video, could you post it? Because I can't find it as usual. The one with Pamela and I talk. It's a great video because it's very basic. I asked it's right when I was learning them, and there it is right here.
NQ stock sell NQ 151 contracts.
All right, so now there's another stop.
Russell Iceberg sell RT 150 contracts.
There you go. So that's about the lugs. If you guys want to learn that. All right, so as it's just bouncing back and forth with here, firing off stop runs. So this is going to stop. I mean, I literally got stopped out to like the tick up here. I mean, by maybe a point. And this is what happens when you stop yourself out in the middle of nowhere. I chose to do that. I could have easily put it up here, but I didn't. That's what I usually do. So say if my stop was like right in front of the zone, I'll definitely get it above that zone. But that sucks. So new event here though. And remember, Algo Guy is still bullish. We talked about how it tried to pull below and didn't. That was one of the reasons too that I didn't feel like I wanted to risk another 15 points. We talked about this, how the market tried to pull below and couldn't yank the shorter term exponential moving average below it, and now it's back above. So these markets, and this is just a chop fest, guys. This is the middle of a balance area. There's nothing really happening. It's just chop city, right? So I don't really feel like risking extra points here. Like it's bouncing off this zone and this zone, this zone, this zone, this zone, this zone.
150 contracts.
Right? So this is a balance area for the last 2 days. Look, you're putting in these tails both ways. It's like, it sucks. It's just a chop fest. So I'll still take trades, but I'm not, especially the relative volume being pretty low. You're probably going to get tortured. in this market. That's why you want to be watching other markets. So when these markets suck, you can head to another market. All right, so there's a good example of what I want to adjust this zone, right? So when you start using this tool, stop run was over here. These prices had traded, so the stops couldn't have been there. The sweeps come in. Sweeps get
Net
first.
gas iceberg sell NG 150 contracts.
First right to the order book. They started here, but then someone was buying, so you know the stops weren't there. So you would start it there and assume the stops were at this price because you don't know where they were.
Sell NQ 150 contracts.
So we got another setup in here too. So we'll just see what this looks like. But right now for the stop runs, that's that last stop, 76.50 to 71 quarter. It really sucks. I got stopped up to the pretty much the tick up there. I could have used 40 points in my favor. I had a chance to get out of some of these earlier, and I just didn't do it because there was nothing for me to get on it. Now you got some new stuff brewing here. This should draw here shortly. We'll trade off of that. I'm not going to take any shorts right here because of I use Algo Guy as a filter, and it's really helped me as far as my winning percentages. I went back and I started looking at, because the bark and lick trades are very aggressive trades. Like, they're all over the place, right? And I went back and looked at a lot of my losers, and they were like against Algo Guy. So I even said, where is it? And well, I was just trying out for the month of like August, and then I just kept it.
Russell iceberg sell RT 150 contracts.
Does that mean I'm not going trades won't work to the downside? No, but that's just my personal. I'm using that as a filter to put those types of trades on. So, all right, the new event just drew here. So now we'll make an example here of how you could adjust this possibly. You can use see this thing drew perfectly up here. You can see the on chart, see that black line on its own. So you can see the market that someone tried to buy into right here. See the blue bubble and this line. And this is what triggered that sell ice, right? And it was only 71 right here, but that's where it started. And then what you want to do is just follow this across. And as it spikes, you want to include those prices if it's outside of the zone. So that market moved down below here, came back, triggered more, right there. Triggered more, right here. Then it triggered a lot more down here, and you can see this is one entity, and you see it on the on chart, right? SI on chart. That's this line. So somebody's following this down. As people are trying to buy it, they're throwing in sell ice. So sell ice is just they're hidden orders. They're not so hidden when you have Bookmap. That's the key, right? So you can see what the big money's trying to do. That's the whole point. Very important. Let's get this up here. So I may still have to adjust this, but this is how I do it. I just go across and pick up these spikes and then keep adjusting. Right? So that was there. See if it, so I would not include these prices right now because it's kind of flatlining, but then it did come down. There was more spike here, so I'll move it down a little bit more. You see that little spike? Use your crosshair. Use this thing. That was down to there. Bring it there. And then, obviously this is tedious sometimes, but you want to get these zones right. You know, especially if you're using the ATR and stuff like we talk about. Very important. All right, hold on. That came. Just want to see if this spiked. Now that was basically the last spike, and then it kind of flatlined. Let's see, 209. Yeah, I mean these are just a couple more. This is like 4 more. I'm not going to bring the zone down another 15 points on a 4. There's 4 icebergs here, so you just follow. You can see it in the left there, right? This was 194 to 205 to 208. 213. So basically 5 lots. This rest of this move, I'm not gonna. I like where this zone is, right? So sometimes it's an art draw on these things. Most of the times it draws it on its own, pretty accurate. 15,584 to 15,848 quarter. 15,584. This is gonna hurt that I got stopped out of that trade. I should have. That's why my trade room said, because that's what I usually do. I usually move it outside of the prior event, so I don't get stopped out in no man's land, and that's exactly what happened. So that's a good learning experience for you guys that are trading these. Risk the extra 15 points so you don't get stopped out on randomness, which I just did. And now it's probably going to free fall. That's my own mistake. That was a mistake. It was my decision, but I know better, right? I know not to stop out in the middle of nowhere. That's why I should have put it above this area. There you go. That's another 50 points and counting. It's all right. All right. I still can't do any shorts off of that event, so whatever. We'll see. See what happens there. I heard something in. So crude, I can't go long off it. Oh, I could have. Yeah, I could go long off here. This is a slug, is it not? So slugs are volume events into the lug. This is actually not a slug. It wasn't a stop run, but this is this strategy here. We name these funny to kind of be memorable too. This is potentially I lug you. Iceberg at the lug. So there was buy ice at an important support level right there, right? So if this does the ATR retest failure, I will now flip and go long. Remember, I was short. Now I'm going to go long. Let's make sure this is correct. This was 156 ice. You can see that I have mine on the on chart, the yellow. That's just this here. Go to the on chart. I have mine at yellow. Black is sell ice, yellow, just so I can separate these areas, right? So that looks like it was one price. It spiked right there. Market came back, triggered it again here, triggered it again there, and then kind of flat lines, triggered more, a little more here. So I would make this like this. Like that. 73.80 to 73.76. This may have already done the ATR retest. I can already miss this trade, it looks like, too. Which is great. Not. So let's go to our spreadsheet here. What did I say? 86. No, 80 to 76. ATR is 28.281. It's rotating about 28 ticks every 5 minutes. All right, so to validate that as a long setup, I go over to my spreadsheet. 7408 makes that a long setup. So it actually just validated now.
NQ stock sell NQ 156 contracts.
Oh, this was not a good decision on this trade. That's short. That's exactly what, like I said, my room asked me, why are you not putting it above that event? That was just stupidity on my part. I mean, if you like 70-point trades, so I should have just had it up here. Bad decision on my part. All right, I'll just keep talking about it too. So sorry, that's just how my brain works. I got to get it out, and then I'm done with it. But I'll bitch about it probably for the rest of the webinar. All right, so now if you are short, which I should have been, you can trail your stop to this. All right. Let's see what algo guy is looking like. This time it did pull below, so it is very choppy. It looked like it couldn't pull the blue that time, and this time it did pull the blue. And now you get those algos that jump on. So that's what this is. Many times when you do get the pull, then these algos, these moving average ribbon cross algos, that's why we call it algo guy, jump in and ride the wave down. And that's exactly what this last move was, very likely, because there's not a lot of size coming in here. So now, let's see. Actually, I think this is an Izzy going the other way. I told you this is a chop fest, but this is a zone. I could take this long aggressively going the other way now, right? And you can see all these buying tails. These are one of the four important areas of charting were how I draw these inflection zones. Tail, tail, tail. Looks like another tail, right? Kind of pop through the zone. These are zones. These aren't exact prices, right? I got the volume event right here. I could take it long aggressively. Hopefully take advantage of this chop fest. So let's make sure the zone is correct. But like I said, if you got short and you didn't get stopped out like a clown like I did, then you would be trailing your stop to this event. 15.8 quarter, looks like the top, and it kept coming down all the way to there. Looks like this drew, let's see. Yeah, I mean, it picked up two more. You could have it here. It drew pretty much perfect. So.
S&P Iceberg sell ES.
Hey.
701 contract.
First setup of the day. And ES. I know how much you guys all love trading that ES. 15.822 to 8.1450. So let me get this thing. $14.50. ATR is 22.34. All right, so if I'm going to go long this setup aggressively on the Izzy trade, meaning I'm not waiting for a retest of the area, 47.75, I can put on 5. I'll round up. Didn't quite get there yet, so I will put that in. If it comes back up there, this is the Izzy trade that I screwed up earlier. On the short side, 47.75. All right, that's working. Come back here. There's still a way I can go short off of this because, well, as long as it doesn't invalidate to the upside, and that's all in the spreadsheet, right? That's what these prices are. So the invalidation price is 44.25. So if that market touched 44.25, came real close, but it still didn't, I could still short this. If it touches 44.25, according to my rules from watching so many of these, I don't take shorts. If it's able to push the full ATR out of here, I will not take a short off of that event, right? And we already have the long working on the Izzy trade. So see what happens there. Let's go over to Mr. ES or Mrs. ES. I don't know if it's female or male. It's usually a bitch most of the time, so I would say female. And NQ's a dude, because I call it NASDAQ a lot of days. Pardon my language for. It's like today. Today it's NASDAQ, right? You got that little stop out to the pretty much exact tick. Mr. NASDAQ. Alright. So this looks like this may be a 1 tick zone. There's the spike here. You can see it moved down, came back. Someone tried to buy it, and they got a mouthful of sell ice. We're right there at that price, right? And it moves down, keeps triggering more as triggered more, came back. This is kind of flatlining now. So right now it's just one price. Let's keep following across. So you can't scroll back and forth. All right, I just filled in NASDAQ. Here we go. Here we go with Chop Fest. All right, so that looks like one price, 45.10. Right, so this drawing tool doesn't get down to one price; it gets down to one tick. So 45.10 is your that's the zone. You know, sometimes they're wide, sometimes they're one tick. Am I missing a trade in here? Let's see. This is probably an Izzy trade as well. This is a broken ice setup. It looks like. Yep, that was an Izzy. Hold on. Let's see if we can still get in this long. 45.10. ATR in here is 4.60. All right, so for me to go long this Izzy, like I just did NASDAQ, 15.25, put on 10. You guys, like if it's between 10 micros or one full one, put on 10 micros so you don't. It's not all or nothing when you start to get out. All right, how about I stop talking and put the damn trade on first? Hold on. 15.25. This is Izzy. Hold on. They already touched 15.25, but I don't chase it back down. Like I always, traders in my room are always like, well, if you get a better price, you already would have been filled at 15.25. Why don't you just get in here? Because just something in my brain says, well, I might have got away with something by not filling. I got lucky. So if it doesn't come back, then I'd never have the trade on, right? If it comes back to 15.25, I'll put on the long. And this is an important support level for spot gamma too. Speaking of which, I want to keep this hero up because we've been watching this very closely, seeing some incredible things with this. I've been posting it on Twitter and in my room some days. Okay, you guys got to realize, I know people have tried this when it first come out, so I just filled on ES Izzy as well. And people like gave up on it because they were using this as a red light, green light. It's not red light, green light. There's times when it's just, this is just another entity in the market. These futures, these options traders have to hedge with their futures. It would behoove you to know when they're hedging a lot, right? But other times, you know, and sometimes it's just moving around with the market. Other times you'll see this huge, like the market will be spinning down here and you'll see the euro go like that. And, you know, if it's notionally a big move, which is $1 billion or more, I talk about this in my webinar with him. I posted it on Twitter. Go to my Twitter page. It was a good basic video with him. Then you want to pay attention. So we've been seeing all these different scenarios. Let's show you here. Actually, it's the wrong Twitter handle. It's my sports betting algo that we built. Actually, if you guys want that, you can go in here. leave a message and I'll put you in the Discord because we're offering it free. But this is just, I built this. All it is second half wagering, the best edge in the world if you like sports betting. And I don't want to hear, oh, I don't like gambling. If you're a trader, you're gambling. So it's the same thing, and that's the best edge I've ever seen. That's why we built it out for it. Anyway, that's called second half play. If you want to get in there and send me a DM, and I'll get you in the Discord room. It just literally pushes plays to your phone, and you got to be quick because they're at halftime. All right. Anyway, this is because I need more action. I don't have enough during the day. I have to have my mind working at all times. Let's see here. What am I doing? Profile. So if you follow me, you're going to start seeing a lot more of these. Right, here's a good example. This was the other day where, actually this isn't even the other day, this is last week. This thing started, so we talk about the Dumb and Dumber, so we know that wasn't real buying, and then Hero already started moving lower, and then notionally it moved big, and then the ES turns around and follows it, right? Things like that. But that's why we want to keep an eye on that. But the point is, some days it's meaningful. Other days it's just noise, right? So it's not noise, it's still important, but like the days like the big money's really playing in here, well, the options dealers are just one entity, right? They're not really having an effect on the market some days. We saw it, and that's what I was trying to find. We saw it the other day. I thought that was the last post I put in here. Let's see. Yeah, so I put a video out. Watch this video I posted. It's on YouTube, right? I thought I had a screenshot, but it was an example of. Here, I'll just show this really quick because it's really.
Not that this is a big entity today, but you said now you got that component and that in the direction too. So it's just, it didn't affect it at all on the down move, and then turned around.
So you heard what I said there, right? It didn't affect it on the down move. So this did move notionally $1 billion or more. That has been that I've seen. Again, we're just coming up with new. By the way, I like golf. If you can't tell by my
S&P Iceberg by ES 774 contracts.
I'll come back to this in a second, but.
So you could,
The point is, they're one entity. There's days that they are running the show. There's other days there's bigger money in here overriding them, right? But keep an eye on it, and you get a free 2 weeks. So check it out yourself if you don't believe me. All right, so now we got new buy ice here. Actually, I never put my stop in for that. And it does not surprise me I'm getting whipsawed. I told you we're in an area that you may not even want to trade these markets. Like this is literally just bouncing in this tight balance area, both NQ and ES. Right? So there's times where you can say, you know what, I'm going to step aside. Once this breaks out of here, then I'm ready to trade it. Nothing wrong with that, right? You got to be consistent if you're going to do that. All right, I got long there, stops at 0475. I don't think I put in my NASDAQ stop either. Here we go. Now here comes the waterboarding with Mr. Tick Strike. Nothing better than watching your trade go against you and listening. Not so fun. And this is, guys, this does not surprise me. We have a trade for this exact occurrence, right? So, yeah, does it suck the thing didn't rip off the page? Yeah, I'd love for it to rip off the page. Does it surprise me it's doing this? No, we have, it's called the reversion trade. It's when the market comes back to the volume event. It happens all the time. It happens so much. We have a trade for it, and that's this part of the spreadsheet, right? So if you were to take the reversion trade there, looks like it's going to, hopefully I don't jinx my room because they're all taken, not all of them, but a lot of them are taking it. The 1 ATR reversion, you're entering at 42, you're out at 69. So let's see if the 1, so you're still in the 1, you never got stopped out at 69, and all you're playing for is a move back to the zone. If you took the 1 and the 2, some guys take 1s, 2s, and 3s. You're never going to get in the 3 and not get stopped out of the 1, but you can definitely take the 1s and the 2s without getting stopped out of the 1. The entry price for the 2 ATR reversion was 62.25. It looks like it tagged that exactly. Or maybe not. Maybe you missed it by a tick. Let's see. No, there you go. Got your fill. So the 1s and the 2s. So my point is, we have a trade for this occurrence. So I'm not sitting there crapping my pants because I got long and it's doing one of these. This is Algo City. It's Chop Fest, and we know the tendency for these markets to come back to the volume event are just, it's silly how often it happens. So do you see me stopping out of this trade? That's why I put my stop in ATR, so I don't get whipsawed like you saw me do up here when I made the mistake and didn't put it outside that. This was when I got whipsawed up here, and I cost myself a 50-point short. I should have just moved it to there. I don't know if I've mentioned that 10 times today. All right, let me put this stop in. I didn't put my stop in here either. What am I doing? So So this is back to the position side. See, these are the position trading strategies part of the spreadsheet. This is the reversion part of the
Silver
spreadsheet.
stock sell SI, 131 contracts.
So I got long, my stop's at 88.75. That puts me in ATR outside of that zone. I am getting whipsawed to death today.
I think the City Fed composite index is at early at -2, -2.
I don't know what's going on with the financial juice squat guy today. Sounds like he's in a
Could be just under 5 minutes time now.
tin can.
Silver stock sell SI, 102 contracts.
All right, so obviously I want this to go up, but there's your reversion. All my trade room who takes these trades, congrats, 1 and the 2, winner, winner, chicken for dinner. It shows you where to get out right here. Same for 1s and 2s. You're out at 24 quarter. Sure, that's exactly where that just touched.
-3, -3.
Hey, look at that. Wow, the exact tick pretty much. How do we know that? I don't know. All right, so just getting tortured here in these long. This is a new event in ES2. So I could technically, I couldn't go short off of this event. Remember we talked about if the market pushes an ATR above here, I don't take shorts, but this is a new event. I could take a short off there. So if I do get stopped out of this long, I could potentially take a short depending on if algo guy is in my favor. And it is. So we got a bearish algo guy. Remember the long I took was because of the Izzy zone. Again, this zone's going to break eventually. It may break right here. Right? So I was okay with taking it. Here we are. This is an important area. What's going on here is very important. This is a zone for a couple different reasons. It's the bottom of this balance. It was the high volume node of that balance. So this is about to be, this could get really ugly here, like now, right? So we talked about this yesterday in my trade room. That's a breakout. Many times when markets break out of balance, they'll come back to the high, then they'll come back to the high volume node. High volume node is just the most trade that's in the balance area. It's an area. It's not an exact price, right? It's kind of like the point of control of market profile. Yesterday you saw that's exactly where it held and put a buying tail in. So right as of yesterday, I was still holding. I literally put in my trade room. Here we go. This is the stuff you get if you're in my trade room. When I can. My exact words yesterday was. Let's see. Yeah, see, I've had COVID, by the way. It's really fun. Second time I had it. I had to cancel the PM webinar yesterday because I was feeling like crap. And anyway, I said right here, no PM webinar. I feel a relapse of this sweet virus. Keep an eye on the ES. First SI event of the day on that last stop run. Algo guy starting to cross 3.5 days, and at a critical area, it needs to hold, or it could get ugly. That's what I just said is going to potentially happen right now. This is just yesterday, and it held. And it didn't get ugly. Right there. High volume node. I drew the balance. I drew the area. That's right where I put in that tail yesterday. Now we're back here right now. You can see there's nothing here structure-wise. So this starts motoring down. This could get pretty ugly. So that's just, what does that mean? Well, I'm a day trader. I'm long right now, right? And I would continue to take longs. But if I start getting short setups, I could trade bigger in that direction, meaning bigger size, because it's an A+ setup. When your thesis lines up with the real-time volume events, that's when you go for the throat, right? Let's make sure the zone is correct, and then I'll answer some questions. I need to stop talking here for a second. Very low energy for my second bout of COVID. Wasn't as bad as the first time I had it. I was laid up for 2 weeks. I actually had to go to the emergency room and almost died. Oxygen level, they were going to put me on a ventilator. When you get put on that ventilator, it's pretty much, it's over. The ventilator, I've heard, is worse than the actual COVID. I'm sure many people can relate to me, but all right, anyway, 45.12 quarter to 45.10 is your new zone. Let's plug that in. So I already long the Izzy trade, but I can potentially take shorts off of this, and I would trade them bigger if this proves to be a bearish event, right? 45.12 quarter. That's already in there, and ATR is 4.74. All right, so to make this a bearish event, it says right here, validation price, 05 quarter. So I'll just keep an eye on that. I'm long Izzy, but there's a way now because algo guy is bearish. I could take Barks and licks. I'm sure there's liquidity down here. We'll look in a second. And I'm going to trade it 2 times size because of my thesis that if this area breaks, this market's going to get killed. Right? And it's just my opinion. And there you go. There's your liquidity. So I obviously would stop out of my Izzy long that I took there. And then for the other trading strategies, bark, I'll take it. Lick, I'll take it. And I'll trade 2 times size. It's all if-then scenarios. If this holds.
Seeing here the US after sell $15 billion in
So I'm not gonna add to my long here because this is still in the Izzy zone, but I already put my Izzy trade on, and I'm not really loving the long right here. So if this moves back out of here, great. I'm already long. If it stops me out, then I'm firing on the shorts on different strategies, right? That's why we have these different. That's why we have these strategies. Right? Slug, lick, Izzy, bark. And again, if you come in my trade room or if you're trying to copy these right now, it's not you take every one of these. I do. But if you're not ready for them, focus on one. All you're looking to just trade Izzies. Just trade licks. Just trade slugs. Get really good at one of them, then add another one. Then add another one. And all of a sudden, 6 months down the line, you're trading 3 to 5 setups. That's how you want to do it. You don't want to try to incorporate. There's a couple traders in my room that are trying to do all these, and they're confusing themselves, right? And they're all over the place. Just pick one of them and trade them. The best one is probably the slug because we know how important the lugs are, how powerful they are. They don't happen all the time. So if you're very patient, that's the trade for you starting out. Izzies are, they happen quite often, but the barks and the licks happen all the time. They're basically any event you're taking retest failure. Excuse me. So what am I seeing here with the internals? Well, NASDAQ can't even get its head above, so this is not good for my long, but I don't use this to not take longs, but this is telling me that this could get ugly as well. Right? I took a long off the Izzy zone, but if I stop out, it's not going to surprise me. This thing can't get above, this is the tick, the NASDAQ tick, can't get above 0 today. That's really important. You're not going to get a meaningful move higher if the overall stock market is not upticking. Same with the yes. Yes has been a little better. It's popped above, the 500 tick. But when you start seeing really, really meaningful moves, that's when it starts to tag the 1,000 line. That's when it's program buying or selling. That's what I see there. ADD is, it's negative. It's not crazy. If it gets down to like minus 2,000 or more, that's a trend down type of day. You want to be very careful buying. This thing has moved straight down, right? So market's responding right now to the downside. So we'll see what happens here. And then there's the hero. All right, let's see if you guys got any questions. Can you post that link in YouTube? I thought I just did that, Tom Gunn. Do you not see the link I just posted? Or those links I posted earlier to the document for the drawing tool and everything? Please let me know. I don't know. I'm hoping you guys can see them. Yeah, you want to change this too, because when you get on this webinar, it's always in the crappiest mode. So you go over here and click on this gear, and then go to quality, pick 720, and then it's clear. Otherwise, it's all blurry. Tom Gunn, did you see the links? Please let me know if you're still on here. Dr. M, I can't trade this. Seems to be. Oh yeah, I agree. You're talking about the area. Absolutely, it's a chop fest. That's what I just got done saying. You may say, I'm not participating in this area until this breaks out. There's nothing wrong with that, and you're seeing it. Yes, I'm getting whipsawed to death. DK, hello, first time here. Hello, DK. All right, so now we just sit here and be tortured. So you could say a deal like today, the hero's just riding along with the market. Let's take a look at some of these other heroes. I did see an interesting thing. I don't know the notional yet at all. I don't really know the notional for this yet. We're still I'm still learning a little. We're going to have plenty of new trading strategies just based on hero, but I did see, again, I posted this in my trade room. Yesterday, there was it led to a, right here. Interesting to go in the Russell hero. When the market was making a high, the options were going the other way. I don't know the notational move that's significant yet, but keep an eye on trading if you're trading Russell. So you can see here, this is what happened in the Russell hero yesterday, right? Guys, it's options flow. They have to hedge. They're part of the market. You might want to know what they're doing, especially when the big moves come. This was that. That was that. This had already started moving lower as it made a new high, and then you see it finally relented and came with it. And then these are these areas.
top by GC.
Right? And it kept going down.
Contract.
I believe. The point is, this stuff's, I don't know the notational for this. Is this a lot? Is this a little? I don't know yet. I need to watch it, but it's important information. They are an important player in the market. Pay attention. So this is turning up. Let's see what NDX looks like. Again, I don't know notional. The only one I know, and this is the one you need to focus on anyway, because the S&P, SPX, this is combining them, by the way. This is combining SPX, SPY, XSP, I don't know what the hell that is, ES futures. So this is the biggest options market on the planet. So this is the leader, right? And if you get flow, it's meaningful flow. I still got to get some more clarification on that, but this doesn't really tell me anything. It's just moving around the market today. Some days it does, some days it's the leader. So I'm not seeing much there. I'm being tortured though, I can tell you that. So I'm still long both of these with bated breath. So we already know that's going to be, if ES breaks lower here, like I said, this should be a really, really nice move down. Right? Now you have current balance. They'll be breaking down out of current balance through the high volume node of prior balance where it bounced yesterday. Then there's nothing here to down here. This could be literally a 70, 100-point move if it breaks and if the big money starts to unload. And that's where you really want to watch. So say I end up getting short off of this event and I trade double sides, and then I'm watching my areas that we talked about where I'll get out, right? Well, I may let it, if I see tick started to hit -1,000, -1,200, -1,000, then I know there's real money behind the selling. And if I see relative volume increase, then what I'm saying is that at these areas you don't need to hop out right away. You can try to ride through. Like this is just basically bouncing off of the point of control from a single day the other day, 2 days ago. But I would just write it down at minimum to blue lug, right? And then maybe more. And that's where you can judge. If it comes down to blue lug and you see this relative volume over here spiking, you already saw that in crude earlier, right? You see it spiking. You can try to hopefully see if it can push through and build new lugs. And then you can really catch the move to the next lug. And that's kind of what happened here in crude, right? We talked about that. This was high relative volume coming through. This was earlier. I already talked about this. You see all these yellow bars. That means it's 200% or more. Some of these bars were almost 400%. And you can see it blew right through the lug. That's telling you something, right? So talk about thesis. We talk about thesis with the lugs. It blew through it because of the high relative volume. When you build new lug, when it builds new lugs, it has a condition to build new lugs. And we talk about that on that video I talked about, because there's other strategies when it builds new lugs and it can't hold and it moves higher. But anyway, this moved, build new lugs. When it builds new lugs, it should hold, if it's going to remain a bearish market, it should hold directional yellow. It's kind of like the point of control of lugs, and prior blue, and then you expect next blue. That's exactly what happened. So if this were to do it again, I would still expect the same thing. But my point is, when relative volume's high, you tend to get the broken lugs because the big money is unloading. So I just switched to say I lost all my market profile composites here. Every time I roll the damn month, I lose my composites, which is not cool. Let's just put this most recent one up. These are just days that are merged, the value area of a day. Go over this. This is all basic stuff, I understand, but some people are new. Right, so this was 2 days. If the value areas where 70% of the trade occurred overlaps the prior day or more days by more than 50%, and this one was more than 50%, then I merge them, and then you get these powerful areas, highs, lows, points, and controls. So that's what that one is, and I just color them in blue color. So there you go. And you can see this was giving you a thesis at the time. This was a single day. Try to accept in this. This was a few days back. It tried to get inside here and it couldn't hold, and then it closed outside. And then look what it did. Tried again. And then today it actually gapped down through it. But this was an important area. Now a really good trade is going to be if it comes back and retests that thing. And I don't have the lower ones because I got to go back here. Let's just see if there's anything close to here, because I lose them all when I switch the months. You need to roll your crude to January if you are trading crude. Yeah, so this gets really confusing. Hold on. Let's see here. Where are we at? at 73.70. So this would be the next one. This was telling you something this day when it tried to accept in this and then said no dice and then led to this huge move up right there, right? So this is firmly inside this one now. What do you expect? The other side. That's the tendency. So here we go. Here we are. This is today's trade. So this is just the tendencies of these markets. When they get inside, what should happen is it should make it to the other side. So that could be an awesome, and I'm sure that lug's right down there too. That's an awesome target. If this somehow can pop back out of here, well, something's up, and then you would expect it to move higher because it can't hold inside here, right? So we're talking about coming up with thesis. I will trade both ways, but the point is, based on what it does here, you can come up with a thesis and trade bigger if you get these reactions, right? Actually, it's not new lows yet, but this looks like it was the point of control. Pretty close, so. All right, you guys got any questions? Apple had daily gap flow. Interesting to see next week where they take Apple. I do assume distributing this week. Yeah, I'm not watching it. Obviously, those stocks are important, but I see that stuff in the on my tick strike. I can tell if they're hitting these FANG stocks or buying them, so on and so forth. And then you can see it on the. You can also see it on this Mag 7 on the Hero. Again, this is the options flow for those exact stocks. Right here, it's Mag 7. So you can keep an eye on this too. This is, let's see, Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, Tesla. Very important too. Just another player, but if they're doing something big, you might want to pay attention. All right, so there's just nothing going on now. Did I mention I got stopped out of that short when I didn't want to? Like I said, I may get stopped out of these Izzy longs, and I'm going to fire to the downside because the ES is going to get smoked, in my opinion. We'll see. And then you'll be breaking out of this current balance in NQ too. This ugly, fugly balance. This is already violated, right? So this is already, that's a breakout, failed. It got through the high volume node. The first time it got through that high volume node, it did put in a buying tail, so that was looking bullish. And now it's already through. Now it's like try to put another tail. I can tell you this breaks down through here. You got the breakdown of the balance. It got through these tails. It got through this high volume node. There is nothing here. You're talking 200-300 points straight down would be my guess. We'll see. You just come up with these FNN scenarios, right? So I'm probably going to lose on this Izzy trade, and I'm ready to fire. I'm going to go short this event. I don't have a new, but there's going to be a new event in NASDAQ. There's always an event around the corner, so you never have to like chase. Right, this was a bullish event, so I couldn't go short off of this particular one. But as this moves lower, there's going to be new events. There's going to be stop runs, so on and so forth. So now we just wait. Let's see what happened to natural gas when that number came out.
S&P Iceberg 5ES 735 contracts. S&P stocks LES.
There we go.
730 contracts.
So the double whammy. I'm about to get stopped. Did I just get stopped out? Close. My stop's at 04, so I'm probably going to get stopped here, but I'm telling you, so this double whammy. So what are double whammies? Well, you just have the dumb money puke into the waiting hands of the buy ice. That's inherently bullish. If this breaks, and I talk about this in my trading course, if you get a broken double whammy or a broken step rose is just buy ice and buy stops in the same directions, or sell ice and sell stops. This is a double whammy. When you get those broken, meaning this inherently should be bullish, right? If this breaks, meaning, you know, it proves to be a bearish setup, watch out below. And we already know the area is really important too. So if this breaks this zone, I mean, I would still take longs, so on and so forth potentially, but if this breaks, it's going to get ugly. Should, my opinion, obviously. All right, let's see what that was here. So you can see this these sell bubbles triggered this buy ice right there. And then right after that you had, so this is the quintessential double whammy. Let's see here. So I still didn't stop out my longs. Probably not going to last long, but let's continue to draw this zone real quick. Uh-oh. All right, so I mean, this is where you may have. So I have 17, so mine just crashed. Right, so this is a good example how you can bring it back in. So mine just crashed, I just lost my zone. So what you want to do, I did not plan this, obviously, but this is good that this happens so you can see if you guys are using the zone. To go over here, see how it crashed? So actually I got to send this to developer. This is why we're doing a beta, guys, because this is going to happen. Hopefully this isn't happening because we're getting a bunch of users out of nowhere. Let me send this to the developer in the room. And I'll show you how to do this. All right, so what you want to do is just go get on it. Don't just be random like where you have all these add-ons and hit remove because it'll take out all the add-ons. Go into the add-on. So I'm in Scott's zone. You can see this is where the error just happened. Hit remove. And now I'm going to re-add it. So you go to add. This is just like adding any other thing. And here you go. This is the most recent. Double click. Scott zones. Load. And then make sure you click it. So be ready for things like that because it's just, and there you go. It just picked it up from the other computer, drew them right back on. But this is why we're doing the beta test, so you can figure out what we need to fix. But overall, it's worth the hassle for the information you're getting from this stuff. And why did this draw up here though? That's what I'm trying to. Oh, you know why? Because it picked it up right here. Hold on, what was this? This is only 14 icebergs. I don't think you need. I'm not even gonna. I don't know why it picked up 14. So there's a way to manually draw these two, just with the hotkeys. I don't even need to do that. I'm just gonna expand this zone, but I want to make sure I get. So this was one price, 45.06 where this ice came in, then the sell stops came in, and then they both basically flatlined. So I don't think I even have to. I think that zone's perfect. Yep, 45.06 to 404.75. So what can I? There's a variation of how I can trade this now. Hey, what? Look at that! I can't believe it. So this is the A+ reversion trade, by the way. When you get a volume event, I just talked about this in gold in my room this morning. You get your reversion prices in a prior event. So technically, there's a way. I'm jumping back and forth here. There's a way I can go short off of this first event. Maybe. Let's see what the ATR is. No. So what I was going to potentially do. Remember, I was talking about going short off of this guy. Well, I could have still done that, but this turned out to be a bullish setup because I got the ATR above there. So I have to wait now. I'm about to get stopped out of this first long, but I have to wait now for an ATR retest of this guy. I was going to try it on this, but per my rules, you always revert to the most recent event. That's a bullish event, right? So I can't take a short off of that, is what I'm saying. Actually, I can't. I can't take any short off of that because it's just violated. So now I just sit here and do nothing with this event. These are my rules, guys. Like I said, this is the science. You can come up with your own rules once you get good at these and say, I don't need to see ATR. I don't care if it got an ATR above it. And then it breaks the zone. I'm going short. Right? Let's just plug this zone in anyway. I want to see what the validation price was for that. Still not stopped out of my long. 45.06 to 04.75. You guys, do you see what order this brings to this market movement, right? Even though we're in the middle of Chop City, when you have rules and you know what you're looking at, is you're not confused by the market action. You're just like, okay, there's a double whammy. That's inherently bullish. This should hold. And there's your ATR trade. Like everything starts to really make sense of what's going on here because this stuff is what drives the market. Real-time volume. It just clears your head. You're like, oh, that's why that does that.
739 contracts.
Let's plug this in 5.12. So to make that event a bullish event, it needed to touch 11, which it did. So that's what I was saying. I couldn't go short off of this event. So this is a bullish event. I'm already long. And now you got more buy-eyes coming in here too, which is probably going to draw here shortly. Maybe not. Not sure why that one didn't draw. That looks like it's right in the middle of this zone. It's right there. Wait, I take that back. It's right here. See how these sell bubbles triggered it? Move lower, triggered it. It's still right in this zone, so I'm just keeping the zone like it is. All right. So I'm gonna my stops for this original. Remember, I got long off of this one on the Izzy trade. My stop's still right here. I mean, I rarely will say I'm gonna move my stop lower now. I don't want to chase my stop down. If this comes down and take my stops at 04, if it stops me off the long off of that event, so be it. There, just drew. And I don't think I want that high. It was the same area. So I'm still long. For how long? Who knows? We'll see. Again, this is inherently bullish, and then you have more buy-ice here. Isn't it important, don't you think, to know in areas that you think are important support areas? Oh, hey, look at that! I got 800 buy-ice there, and I got another 700 here. I got 1,500 buy-ice trying to support this area. I love the long here type of thing, right? I don't love the long here. I'm long, but I don't love it. The point is, when you know what the big money's doing, it just gives you added confidence. But the big money's not always right. We have an actual setup for that. It's called broken ice, right? But right now, the big money's trying to hold this thing. So let's see if they do it. If not, it's going to get ugly to the downside, in my opinion. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in here. Dr. M, that's the new, who's the other guy who used to put in 85,000 tweets every webinar? Can't remember his name. Looks like Dr. M is taking over. We used to call him Mr. Caffeinated. Oh, that was Captain Caffeinated. Remember that dude? Sweeper again. We'll see ya. Sweeper again, LOL. I can't trade because it's random for me. I don't know how to react to these yet. On the outside edge. I can't keep up with all your text. I'm scared of shorting the buy on chop. Okay, so this is the point of having rules for these events. You're not scared to do anything. If they present themselves long with the rules, you go long. If they present themselves short, you go short. If you follow my rules, right? And then you put the trade on and you let it work. So there's a guy in my trade room. His name's Lance. He's made a lot of money since February. A lot of money, right? And people are always asking in my room, how are you doing it? Like, what are you doing? And literally his response every single time is, I follow the rules. I follow the rules. I follow the rules. So in the beginning, follow my rules. Get really good, and if you want to adapt, that's fine, but just follow the damn rules. We have rules based on how the market should react to these events. So there's no guessing. So it's really great what Dr. M is posting here, even though he's posted about 800 tweets, or whatever you call them, messages. This is exactly how traders, they get all confused. Like, I don't know what to do. Should I go short? Should I go long? I don't know. But when you have rules for the most important thing that's happening in the market, you don't sit here and crap your pants which way it's going to go. If it does that, then you're going long. If it does that, you're going short. Then you know where to put. You use your spreadsheet. Use my spreadsheet. Put your stop where it should be, and then you let the trade work. That's all you can do. All you can do in trading is have an edge, and this is the best edge that I've ever seen for me and for anybody else that's ever used it, and then have rules around the edge, right? Here you go. Oh, why? Why do you do that to me? Hold on. I was just getting ready for my rant, and then it stopped me. Here you go. Straight out of Trading in the Zone. If you've not read this book, highly recommend it. 5 truths. Anything can happen. You don't need to know what's going to happen next, nor do you know what's going to happen next. There is a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge. So I don't care how good your edge is, you're still going to have losses, right? It's just like a casino. Every week, say the same thing. They don't win every hand, do they? Do they shut down when one guy beats them? Do they change the rules? I mean, they do if they think you're counting cards, take it from me. But other than that, do they just shut down the game and say, oh, we can't offer this game? No, they know they have an edge, which is nothing more of an indication of a higher probability of one thing happening over another. Just math, right? So, and every moment of the market's unique. So this is the edge, the best edge I've ever seen. You can listen to me, you cannot listen to me. If you want to use 25 years of experience in your favor, then you might want to listen. If you don't, figure out the hard way. The point is, there is no disputing this is the edge. So I know I have an edge, and if I follow my rules, I know over a series of trades, just like a casino knows over a series of dealt hands, they will come out a winner. That's all it is. And then you just keep putting them on. And you don't sit there and say, oh, this one feels bad. This one, I say it all the time. Yeah, it feels bad. I think this is going to be a loser, but I still put the trade on because I follow my rules, right? There There you go. That's the most recent rant. And then that's here, down here. You can be the casino if you have the edge. That generally puts the odds of success in your favor. We do. You can think about trading in the appropriate manner. The 5 fundamental truths. That's these. That's it. And then you just keep putting the trades on. Like I said, there's times where you can build into your plan, like, okay, that's great. There's volume events. I'm not doing anything until this thing breaks out of this. This market's in deep trouble, but as far as I'm concerned. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, talking about thesis. So how was this call by Spot Gamma? When I told my room that day, where's it at here? When this guy starts talking, not this guy, Brent, he's a very, very smart individual.
578 contracts.
When he starts talking in those terms, you want to pay attention. I mean, he literally said, we anticipate the equity market high being Wednesday a.m. 11:15. Was that yesterday? Yeah, I think it was. Was that the high yesterday? Look at that. I mean, and that's just based on, he's not guessing. He's not even using market structure. He was saying with the options complex.
191
I got some stuff firing off in grains. With the options complex, what he was seeing is this should mark a high. And it was literally, he called it to the tick. And then here we go. And now, but with the things I look at and you may look at, now this is looking like it's going to get killed too, based on what so I know that information, the options information, put this as a resistance. Is there a number coming out, and why is everything hitting grains? We'll go there in a second. Anyway, he called it. Pay attention. You get the 2 weeks for free. You get the hero. You get his notes. When he talks in certain terminology, you really want to pay attention. He called that on the dime, right there. And then he says this is going to clear the way for a final year-end rally. So I think what I said in my room yesterday is I think this market's going to originally, based on what I was seeing too, it's going to get smoked, probably come back to this area, right? Because there's nothing here. It's just a gap. And then it'll turn around for the rest of the year and do its usual rally, because it does it every single year, barring outside events, another war, something like that. There you go. Get this for 2 weeks. Try it out. All right, I'm almost at the time. You got questions, throw them in. If you can get a text in around Dr. M. I mean, Dr. M, what are you doing, dude? I mean, seriously, man. How many texts could you put through there? So anybody have a question besides Dr. If you can fit it in between Dr. M's text, throw it in there, because I'll be getting off here in the next 5 minutes. All right, hanging on by the hair of my chinny chin chin on this long, but like I said, I get stopped out. It's going to be go time. And this is a new event too. Remember I said I couldn't go long or go short off of this one because I got the ATR? Well, this is a brand new event. I can go short off of that one, which I will do if this does break down. And I'm going to trade 2 times the size. So I'm going to take my lump and get stopped out at 04 on that long off of this guy. And then I'm going to be looking for that. And I'm going to be liking the short. And we got a lick down here. I think it would go way below this, but we'll see. I don't know. It's just my opinion. I trade my events with my rules. That's it. So it'd be nice if something could happen before we get off the webinar. Even if I almost want to get stopped on this long so I can go short. I want to go short. I want to fire on the short. And the longer these things just sit here, the more likely it is. And now you can see, now they're starting to hit the FANG stocks, right? Let's see what they're starting to hit this tick too. No, still not really going extremes here. All right, I think I just stopped out finally. Hold on. Yeah, all right, I just stopped out of ES long. So now what I'm looking for is my validation price. And then I'm going to take barks and licks, and I'm trading them 2 times size normal. Make sure you update this ATR 4.76. Actually, let me put this. I'm going to put this new zone into. This may be a different area. This was this buy ice here. Remember, guys, I posted in here. I'll post again if you can, because you're not going to ever see it with the 85,000 text that Dr. M put in.
NQ stock sell NQ 156.
If you want this drawing tool, so that doesn't even work if you hold on. just had stops and. Alright, so that's the document. You can get the drawing tool beta on. You got to go through the Bookmap Discord, contact that guy on there, and he'll set you up. All right, so to make this a bear, I want to make sure this was correctly drawn first. This was this bias here. This may be a one tick zone too. Let's see. So it triggered there. See that spike? Triggered more there. Sorry, down to here. So it looks like the top was up here. So let me bring this down a couple ticks. Oops. No. There we go. 0550 to 0475. That's the zone. So plug that in. ATR is the same, 4.63. So to make this a short setup, it needs to touch a validation price of 4,500, based on my rules and what I've seen and watching 10 million of these things. So what does that mean? The minute it touches 4,500, that confirms this is a bearish setup. Then I'm waiting for the retest, the failure, based on that strategy, bark, and the lick, and then I'm going to take a short, and that price is in here too. That price will be 99.50. I can put out 9 micros, and then I will, risk in this amount. So the spreadsheet, you put in your account size and the risk. We haven't even got into Apex today, but highly recommend you use that if you're learning or trying out new stuff, and don't be risking your own money. And then my stop's at 10.75. So again, that I will make this, if I do get filled on that, I make this market come back and push all the way back. So I get filled at that 99.5 or whatever that was, pushes all the way back, the ATR plus, gets through the volume event, and pushes another ATR out, and then I say, uncle, okay, you win. Other than that, that's how I trade them. Just keep taking them, guys. Most days, most trading days, it's going to be like this. Back and forth. Make a little, lose a little, make a little, lose a little, and then you're going to have a huge day. Make a little, lose a little, make a little, lose a little. It could go for weeks. Another huge day. So most great traders, profitable traders, only have between 5 and 10 days out of the entire year that make their entire P&L, or the majority of their P&L. If you can realize that and know you're not going to, you always know if it's a newbie, like, oh, I want to make $500 a day. That's ridiculous. This is not a regular job. Yes, you can average $500 a day, but you're going to be going back and forth most of the time, and then that, and then that, and then the end of the year, yeah, you averaged $1,000 a day, but you're not going to come in here and just pull $500 every day out of the market like it's a job. It's not going to happen ever. So stop thinking that way. All right, so you guys know what I'm doing here. I would really, really pay attention. This could get ugly here. If it gets through this, it's already getting in trouble, but we get through this Izzy zone here, then it's bye-bye, in my opinion. All right, I do this twice a day, every day in my trade room. If you guys want that drawing tool, follow the rules in that document I just posted. You can try it out. It's awesome. It saves so much time, and it's very accurate. And you just got to adjust a little bit sometimes. Remember, it may crash. Don't start sending mean messages. We're giving it for free. Try it out. Give your feedback, and we're going to improve it. That's why it's called a beta. All right, I will see you guys next Thursday.